It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Up to date with Nate.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to Up to Date with Nate. I have no idea what episode this is, but this is season 2, and let's get up to date with it. I checked, and this is season 2, episode 16, so welcome back, guys. It's been a couple weeks since we've had an episode, and that is due to my adventures abroad in the US. So that's pretty much what we're going to talk about today. So if y'all remember, I told you guys that I was going to Florida for 2 weeks for Thanksgiving, as well as a vacation. I guess Thanksgiving is usually vacation. So we had planned on going to Florida to spend the holiday with Danielle's brother and his wife and their new baby girl, Riley. That was in the works, I think, since the summertime. But then a hurricane came and hit their house. So what we ended up doing was we stayed 50 miles away due to the Air Force regulations on the disaster zone. And we drove every day out to their house to go ahead and help fix up their property. So what we did was Danielle and her mom worked inside the first day and pulled out the extra nails that were left from taking out the drywall. And Danielle's dad and brother and I took down a tree the first day that had gotten ripped in half. So this was my first time in a hurricane zone. And one of the interesting things about the trees that were blown over is it didn't take out the roots on most of them, even though it's sandy ground. But instead, a lot of them were broken like 20 feet or so up. So the wind in that case actually found the point where the sturdiness of the tree met the swayingness of the top of the tree. So right in the middle of the trees, a bunch of them were snapped in half in the middle. So I thought that was an interesting thing, and I didn't necessarily expect that. So we spent the first day cutting down the tree and sawing up the logs, and then we spent a second day doing that as well. By the end of the second day, we had the tree all removed and into piles. And then I started digging post holes to replace the fence that had been blown out. And we did that and started actually setting the fence posts. And I believe that was on Wednesday that we were doing that. Thursday was the Thanksgiving, but we didn't quite get all the fence posts that we wanted set. So Danielle and her dad and I went back and finished up setting the fence posts for the fence. And then the following day we went ahead and built the fence. So we had kind of a busy working Thanksgiving, but it was good to go ahead and help her brother get those things done, and we were glad to be able to do it. One of the interesting things about building the fence is the water table is so high in Florida that you can only dig like 2 feet down before you start hitting like sludge and water. So when we came back the next day, I had dug a bunch of fence posts already, and all of those were filled with water. So you can't really set cement in water. So our solution then was to just go ahead and mix the cement inside the post holes and then set the pole. And that worked for pretty much all of the fence posts that we had dug the day prior. And then once we got to the newly dug holes, we were able to then mix the cement outside of the hole and set the posts with the pre-mixed cement. So I'm not sure if that's the proper way to do it, and the cement was kind of muddy, but it worked, and they've got most of the fence now. So then following that, on Saturday, we went from where they were in Panama City, Florida, over to Orlando, Florida, where Danielle and I had a week to spend at Disney World, and it was a wonderful vacation. We spent the night at a small motel in Orlando, and then Danielle's parents dropped us off at Disney World the following morning, which was Sunday morning, and her parents continued down to visit some friends further south. So we got there, we dropped off our bags and checked in for our hotel, and then we went to the park. If you don't know, Disney World has 4 different parks: Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and the Animal Kingdom. And all of those are amazing, but you have to spend the first day in Magic Kingdom, because just walking into Disneyland for the first time, and you've got the main street right there, and just the atmosphere is magical. So if you go, definitely do Magic Kingdom for the first day. So I'm not going to go into the details of every day, but I will tell you that on Wednesday and Thursday, the weather cooled off quite a bit. So despite it being Florida, it was like only 51 or so degrees for the high. It might have been Tuesday, Wednesday, actually. So we ended up wearing pants and coats for those 2 days where it was cold. But yeah, we walked a lot of miles. But what I wanted to get to was just to tell you a few of the tips and some of my favorite things from it. So, like I said, Magic Kingdom is probably my favorite themed park in Disney World, because it has all of the Disney magic there. My second favorite would be Hollywood Studios, less for the theming and more for what was there. What we did was, with Disney, you're able to use fast passes and schedule them with your phone. So we had pre-scheduled 3 fast passes for every day, and then once you use those 3 up, you can schedule a new one if it's available. So once we did that, we were able to schedule for all our rides. I think we only did the standby line about 4 times the entire time we were there. So that was really good. We maximized our Disney time. Yeah, so if you go, second tip, definitely use the FastPass system with the My Disney Experience app. And then I just wanted to tell you what my 4 favorite things were: 2 shows and 2 rides. My favorite shows were actually both in the Animal Kingdom, and they have Finding Nemo the musical there, as well as the Lion King show. I'm not sure if it's a musical, it's like a Lion King celebration, but that had acrobats and people in costumes, and it was really fun. But the Finding Nemo musical actually has Disney actors, and they've got puppets of their fish that are kind of on a shoulder thing, and they've got little triggers to move the mouths. So it's kind of like they're acting as well as being puppeteers, and just the way they did that whole show is really cool. So definitely don't miss that one if you go to the parks. And then my 2 favorite rides were actually in Hollywood Studios. The first is Tower of Terror, which, if you don't know, is like an elevator that's themed for the Twilight Zone, and it takes you in, and the theming is excellent. But you go in the elevator and it takes you up, and then it drops you and it goes up and down, and I just love the feeling of free falling, so that was definitely one of my favorites. And then the other one is the Star Wars Star Tour ride, which is kind of a classic, I think, but what it is it's a simulator actually in one of those jarring van things. And they've got a bunch of different simulations, but it makes it feel like you're flying through space on a Star Tour. So that is also one of my favorites. So then on Saturday we flew home, and smooth sails. It was actually probably the 2 most smooth plane landings I've ever had. We connected in Seattle and then back to Boise, rested and recuperated. One thing that happened yesterday actually was our local Christian radio station, KTSY, is having local high school choirs sing on the live radio this week. But one of the high schools backed out last minute yesterday, and someone got a hold of our Eagle Song director, Steve Kuykendall, and said, our choir backed out and we need someone to come sing. Can you get anyone? So Steve, it was like 4:30. It was like 3:30 when he sent out the text. He said, super last minute, can anyone be at the Boise Mall at 5 o'clock? And so 2 of us were able to show up and help Steve out with that. He did a couple solos, and we kind of just winged it. As far as parts go, with 3, you can't really do a whole choir thing, but luckily we're all good at harmonizing, so we were able to do some pretty good harmonies on that. And if you want to check out the live stream video from that, it is on the KTSY Facebook page, and I think it'll be shared on the Eagle Song page as well. That's a long story for what's been going on the last couple weeks, and let's go ahead and go to an Any Music update. Obviously, since I was gone for 2 weeks, I didn't do much as far as music goes for that time, but I do have a couple things I want to share and announce. This week, I will be able to get into the studio, hopefully with our guitar player, and I'm planning on completing one more track in time for Christmas, and that way I can get that track out to my backers and say Merry Christmas to them. So if you are a backer, please look forward to that. I'm hoping to have it out by Christmas, fingers crossed. And then the other big announcement I wanted to make is in this following short video. Announcing the Nate Engberg Music Choral Club. This is a brand new choral club designed to get Nate Engberg Music's publications into the hands of choir directors in the Boise area and beyond. The 2019 edition of the club will include all 7 of Any Music's current publications, and choir directors will have the opportunity to receive it for free. The first 20 choir directors to subscribe to the Choral Club between now and February 15th, 2019 will receive the first edition of the Choral Club for free. To be eligible for the free 2019 Choral Club, all you need to do is email me at nateengbergmusic@gmail.com to verify the church or institution that you are a director for, and subscribe to the Any Music newsletter and be the first to learn about future choral pieces from Nate Engberg Music. Please be sure to take full advantage of this opportunity. Thank you. So if you know any choir directors, please get the word out to them. I'd love to send them this free music. And this is the next phase in marketing for the choral side of my business, and I really hope that'll help it take off somewhat. So again, please share. I will have an additional video of just that clip up by tomorrow for you guys to share with any choral directors you may know. So please get the word out about the Choral Club, and I'm really looking forward to offering that to the directors in this area. And with that, let's go to the question of the week. Oh, Christmas tree, a tree so small and lovely. So, question of the week. It's been a couple weeks, so I had to pause the video and refresh my memory. We did have some entertaining responses to the Great Bacon Debate, as well as Christmas music. So, Cassie, coming in on the bacon debate, says that floppy bacon is gross. Cassie, I'm here to tell you your opinion is invalid, and it is in fact crispy bacon that is gross. Sarah, on the other hand, says bacon is gross. Sarah is a vegetarian though, so I'm not sure if that counts. Sorry, Sarah. And then for the Thanksgiving traditions, Cassie said that one of her favorites is to make sweet potato casserole with my wife Danielle. They weren't able to do that this year. Danielle did make some in Florida, but hopefully they'll be able to do it at Christmas instead. And then Sarah said that one of her favorite Thanksgiving traditions is eating sometimes. Let me actually read it verbatim. She says, fave Thanksgiving tradition is sometimes we end up eating food. There you go. Sarah also chimed in on the Christmas music question. She said Christmas music should not be listened to unless it's Justin Bieber Christmas. I happen to disagree, but you are entitled to that opinion, Sarah. Oh, and also, Sarah, I'm sorry, but I did not get a hug from Mickey Mouse. I was able to get my picture with Daisy Duck, though, in the Animal Kingdom, and that was pretty fun. Really, we didn't line up to meet any characters, because why would you stand in a character line when you could go in a ride line? But maybe that's just me and Danielle. As far as characters, we also met, well, we didn't really meet, but we did the Belle meeting experience. I don't remember what the show itself is called. Next to Belle's Castle, there's a little kind of a show where you can go in and meet Belle and be a part of a skit that they do, and then she takes pictures with all the kids. Danielle and I didn't get our picture taken. We were late for Fast Pass, so we did that instead. Oh, I was going to say the reason we were able to meet Daisy Duck is because that she had just come out and there wasn't a line to meet her. And then for the question of this week, I have for you guys is, what is your least favorite Christmas song? Mine is the Boys Choir Canon in D one that used to play all the time. I don't think they play it so much in Idaho, but it's like, they're like, on this night, on this Merry Christmas night, on this night, is pretty obnoxious. That is my least favorite Christmas song because I think it's obnoxious. If you disagree, feel free to say so. What is your least favorite Christmas song? Now that we are in December, Christmas is full swing, as you can see by my festive attire. So let me know in the comments below, and I'll read those next week. For now, stay steadfast. But the Finding Nemo show is actually the Finding Nemo